There's nothing to worry about, no matter what your own circumstantial points of view are. They're already primordial wisdom, and to see them as some kind of other thing, no matter what they are, to see them as somehow separate, as though they have somehow existed separate and apart from the total love and purity of everything, is to be very far from realizing who we are. So, what I suggest to people is just let your thoughts and emotions be whatever they are, and enjoy the ease of your own being in relation to these appearances. And the more that you do so, the more it will become absolutely clear to you that there is no division anywhere, that all appearances, no matter what they are stainlessly pure. Well, first of all, the veil is primordially pure. The veil is flawless awareness. The veil itself is flawless awareness. There's never been anything in flawless awareness, never been anything at all. And when we talk about what comes about for us as human beings, is we just learn from other human beings, that's all. We learn that we are somebody and we're separate from other people. And we learn to use our awareness in a specific way. We learn to use our awareness to hold to what appears and then discriminate about it, to say this is good or this is bad. And thus it's something to either accept or reject. And once we do that, we throw ourselves into seeming confusion. But even the confusion or the veil or the non-recognition of awareness, all these ever are appearances of awareness. If we think there is a thing like a veil in our way or non-recognition of awareness in our way, then that's okay. Just repeatedly enjoy the ease of being, and it will become clear that these two are awareness. There's never been anything other than that.
But why the play, so to speak? Why the initial, if there's such a thing as probably not, of this whole thing occurring the way it does?
That's a good question, and I'll tell you what the conclusion is that I've come to and I share. I don't need to understand. There's no one to understand that. The minute I attempt to understand what could never possibly be understood, then I begin to enter a philosophical construct. However, if just staying with the ease of our own being, everything that becomes clear, the answer to that question becomes totally clear. But there's no way to describe what that is. Let's talk about it in very simple human terms. We all are born here, and then we gradually learn that everything is separated, that we learn dualist perception, and that comes about very gradually. We aren't born knowing that. We're born wild and free and spontaneous, crying when we want to, smiling when we want to, staring at everybody like, oh, wow, isn't that the most incredible thing I've ever seen? You know how a baby will just look at anybody? It could be an axe murderer or Gandhi, you know. The baby's just, oh, you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So this is how we're born, and this is who we always are. And we simply learn then, very, very gradually, to use our awareness to focus on objects, to focus on the appearances. And in the same way, we can become certain about who we really are. So we gradually learn that we are somebody, that we're separate from everybody else, that all of our thoughts and emotions really mean something, and that they need to be paid attention to, and that we have to be forever vigilant like a good taskmaster standing over ourselves, and making sure we know which is the good one, which is the bad one. And so we very gradually learn that. It takes a very long time for that to come about. A child cannot even conceptualize about those things in a conceptual way until they're 7 years old. So it takes that long for conceptualization to become something that a human being can do. Well, becoming familiar with the certainty of who we are takes far less time than that, because we already know who we are. And when we're exposed to that certainty with authority and conviction, then it naturally comes about very swiftly. We can say, we speculate, well, that we're exposed to other human beings and their points of view, and then we adopt those points of view. But it's so simple. We don't need to understand or know anything, because we can never know what anything is. So the moment we attempt to know what something is, then we feel confused. We have a seeming sense of confusion as soon as we attempt to know what anything is, because it's impossible to know what anything is. So the very simple way to understand yourself is that you are all-encompassing awareness. You've never been anything other than all-encompassing awareness. Within that awareness, which could be considered the pure view, there are appearances of points of view, and all those points of view are pure, no matter what they are. So anything you seek to understand, anything you name or label about yourself or anyone else, or the world you live in, or religion, spirituality, philosophy, whatever it is, they're all points of view within awareness, and they're all primordially pure. Whether they're spiritual points of view or non-spiritual points of view, they're primordially pure. And what that means is that the description of the appearance itself is forever empty of anything. It's pure. It's forever empty of anything. And the appearances don't need to try to be rearranged in order to make life comfortable. It's in not rearranging the appearances that and seeing that they're fine just the way they are, that everything just as it is complete, that we then know wisdom. We know the wisdom that is penetrating, authoritative, convincing, completely beyond any need for philosophical frameworks, including our own. And all the questions, why, who, what, where, when, how, all these things, these are just all points of view in awareness. Just in the ease of your own being, allow all these points of view just to be as they are, without any need to seek anything in them, to seek to understand. We can never understand the reality of our being. We can completely enjoy the reality of our being all of our lives, but we'll never understand it. No matter how great our cities or powers become, we'll never understand it. And there's no need to, there's absolutely no need to. Everything is okay just as it is. And when we place ourselves in a circumstance where we're supported in that, then it becomes more and more evident in us. Nothing needs to be done. I've said that probably 100 times today so far. But really, nothing needs to be done. Absolutely nothing needs to be done. From love is love. You place yourself in a loving circumstance, and love comes naturally in that. When that is what is affirmed about who you are, and you're supported with unerring instruction and just allowing the ease of your own being, it becomes obvious very quickly. And why all the other happened, who? Yeah. I don't need to know.